Welcome, everyone. This is the Monday edition of the NCAA basketball. This is the debut of the Triple Double Show, powered by the Predictive Playbook and presented by SportsMemo TV. And I have you more than covered for the Monday slate with my co-host, Dr. Chuck, here on Monday. And we're going to talk about two bets, maybe a few other type of bets, maybe first half bets. You know, we cover it all. But these are bets that at the end of the day, we will be taking to the window. So they're legit. We're not throwing darts. We're using our mass amount of research. And we're trying to share it with you and also learn from you. So without further ado, let's get right to it, Chuck. I am all over this game. And I'm not talking about the total, but I am talking about Maryland when they take on Iowa tonight. This game's going to start at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the Carver Hawkeye Arena. I mean, I just love that name. Maybe the Washington football team ought to change their name to the Carver Hawkeyes. All right, I got sidetracked. So what? Anyway, the Maryland Terrapins, Big Ten member. Iowa, obviously Big Ten. Everybody who knows me knows I love the Big Ten and the SEC, both in football and college basketball. In this game, the over-under is 152. Iowa is a 9-point favorite in this game. Iowa has edges across the board offensively. Points per game, they're number 2 in the nation at 87.9. They run at the 16th fastest pace at 65.2 field goals attempted per game. Field goal percentage, they rank 40th in the nation at 47.8. And for those that don't know it, there's 357 college Division I basketball teams. So being 40th among 357 is pretty good. They don't take many three-point attempts. They're more inside the arc type of team and power, getting to the rim. And that's another reason I like this team. Free throws per game, as I just said, they go into the paint, they get fouled. They average almost 17 free throws a game. And their percentage isn't, I mean, it is very good. It's number 7 in the country. It's 79%. But I think over the remaining part of the season, you're going to see that number keep getting higher and higher into the low 80s because every one of those kids can shoot free throws. Assists per game, assists to turnovers. Dr. Chuck, you know I love these stats heavily in Iowa's favor. Defensive end, turnovers per game, Iowa doesn't turn it over. 8.9 turnovers per game. It's almost insane. It's like talking about the Georgia defense in football in yards per point.
We love that.
First half, oh, absolutely. First half scoring per game, number 2 in the country. First half scoring allowed per game, 216th, but that's misleading because they play at the third fastest pace in the nation. So you can't look at that and say, oh my God, their defense sucks. It really doesn't because of their fast pace. And then you have to take these metrics and then adjust them. Just like we do strength of schedule, you have to adjust them for the pace of the game. When you do that, Iowa's defense, in terms of points allowed based on pace, is number 15 in the nation. So at the end of the day, I see Keegan Murray, Jordan Bohannon, Patrick McCaffrey, Philippe Rabraca, and Joe Toussaint just dominating. Those are the starters for Iowa. I see them winning this game by a lot, Dr. Chuck, and I want you to tell me, what do you know that can calm my enthusiasm, my bullishness, because I get this bullish on a game. Sometimes I go to the window and then I go, what did I just do? What did I just do?
Huh. Yeah, and I know what you mean. It's hard to temper the excitement. Sometimes you see these lines, especially early, and you know, we're doing the show a little bit before these games are going to start, so things have changed a little bit from when they opened, and you didn't mention it, but of course this opened about 7.5, maybe 8 at a lot of books, depending upon how quickly they open. And so there's a little bit of that potential. If I was going to come up with anything, I think this should be a double-digit game, similar to what we're going to talk about in my side here. I like the Hawkeyes and the team I'm going to take here in a little bit to win by double digits. So I like that spot, especially at home. And you know, I think there's a little bit more to the small slate. We talked off air. Ken Pom versus Bart Torvik versus however you're going to help your grading on your power ratings versus the market. And one website is trumping the other as far as where they rank these two teams. And I think Maryland is being overvalued on both sites, and Iowa has far too much firepower. So you're talking, yes, I think this is an 11 or 12 where it should have been. And so I like anything that you're going to take in the -9 range. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're with me. I'll end the breakdown here with a system, and it's hit 73% against the spread over the last 5 seasons for a 51-19 and one push record. You have a matchup here, Chuck, of two teams with win percentage between 60 and 80% on the season. They are playing against each other, and Iowa has won at least 3 against the spread as a favorite. 3 consecutive games installed as a favorite. They've covered the spread. Those are the requirements. That's what gets you 51-18 and one push over the last 5 seasons for 73% winners. I am on Iowa. And by the way, that system's 4-0 this season alone, and I think it's going to be 5-0 by the end of the night. Let's move on to the Colorado Buffaloes. Now, this is going to be a different type of pace game, I think. It'll be probably my mirror opposite of what Iowa tries to do. Oregon Ducks in the Pac-12 is a Pac-12 matchup, obviously. Colorado 9-3, Oregon's 8-6, but Oregon is a 7.5-point favorite with a total of 134 points. Where's your best bet, Chuck?
So similar to you, I'm looking at that home favorite here. I think that -7, the -7.5 that you can get, I like it all the way up. At a decent sized unit bet up to -9 as well. I think this is a double-digit game. We talked off air about where these two teams are heading and how they're rated. Ken Pom still has this team inside the top 80, the Buffaloes, inside the top 80 in this country. And while I'll diverge just for a second to the fact that they haven't played since September 18th. In that game, they played Bakersfield. They were great against Bakersfield in all the Tad Boyle ways where they just shut everybody down on defense. Jabari Walker left that game, though, with a head injury. All signs point to, I think, him being in this game. It's hard to tell with this spread. This is about the same spread that Oregon had against Utah in their game last time out where they won by 13 at home. And I rate Utah a better team than I rate Colorado. And so to only go up by a half point to a point from that 6.5 that Utah was getting, I just don't think that's true. It doesn't really matter to me if Jabari Walker's playing or not. I am capping this 100% based on the fact he is. Will Richardson is unstoppable from deep and all over the floor. Both these coaches, as you mentioned, this is a different pace game. If we're looking at, you mentioned how many teams are in Division I. We have in Oregon the 351st paced team playing defense for 30 seconds against the 343rd rated team. So all 5 guys on the floor for each team play defense for all 30 seconds intensely and really put the screws to them. But Oregon is it's in a really effective offense. It's top 30 in offensive efficiency. Colorado cannot shoot the 3. They're hideous. I hate using adjectives like that, but they're just hideous. They're 300th in 3-point percentage. And Oregon has held the last 2 opponents they've faced to 12 of 51 from 3. Colorado, in the last 3 games they've played, has shot 14 for 52 from 3. And so, I mean, when you're a dog on the road and you need some triples, it's not going to happen. And, Tad Boyle has a defensive-minded team still trying to figure out where they go without McKinley Wright IV leading this team. Jabari Walker is the guy. It's not enough tonight, and I think Oregon maybe – it looks a little sketchy, and maybe you can even get a better line in the middle of this game if you're waiting, depending on when you're watching this. But they close this out and win by 10, 12, 14 points.
I love it, Dr. Chuck. With the slow pace of the two teams, does the under interest you at all at 134? This feels like what you said there gave me an idea that this is like a 64 to 50 type of game. Is that possible, do you think?
Well, that's 20 points cushion right there. So that's absolutely. If I was going to play, I'd be under. Ski always says, if I'm playing them, I'm laying them. If you're playing this total, you're not playing the over. You'll need overtime for that. And no matter what, if we even lose the spread bet, you'll need overtime to get an overplay here, because it's not because Colorado started hitting threes. It's because they played better defense than I expect them to, and they held the Ducks down to 60. So yeah, absolutely. If it's interesting because you brought that up, because the team totals in this game are 69.5 and 61.5. So it's pretty interesting to look at that. I wouldn't say to completely go Colorado under that team total, but if you're looking at something that isn't just a generic game play, I like that too.
Yeah, for the purposes of the show, your best bet is Oregon.
Yeah,
Yep.
Oregon minus what get what you can get. I know Penny's got -7, and I think the rest of the outs are mostly -7.5 right now. I would play that at the same level at 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9.
Well, it looks like we have about the same betting lines here, and I agree. I'm pretty confident with both plays here being double-digit winners, especially if our handicap is right. It could be even more. Mm-hmm. But, Chuck, that'll conclude episode 1 of the SportsMemo TV NCAA Triple-Double Show. So thanks, everyone, for watching this show. We'll be back just about every single day, depending on the cards, especially Wednesday and Saturday are your big college basketball cards. So be sure to look for us then and save yourself the trouble. Just simply subscribe, hammer the bell. You'll be notified of every single show we do on SportsMemo TV, and you'll be glad you did. So for Monday here, have yourself a great day in the sports betting markets, and we'll see you again tomorrow with another edition of the NCAA Triple-Double Basketball Show. So until then, bet with your head, not over it, and may all the wins be yours.